So, yesterday in math, we were talking about how to subtract with up to a 4-digit number. And I just want to review this because we're going to build on this idea today when we talk about subtracting across zeros. So, if I had this particular problem, 6,340 minus 3,451, I'd start in my ones place and I would see if I have 0 ones, can I take 1 1 away? The answer is no, I can't. So I have to regroup from next door. So this guy goes over and says, can I borrow one of your 10s? He says, sure. So now he's down to 3 10s. Now this is going to be important for what we do today. This 0 now becomes a 10. And now I think, can I do 10 minus 1? And I can, and that would be 9. Now, the important thing here is to realize that I didn't have any ones, so when I moved 1 10 over here, it's going to be a 10. Okay, it's not just going to be a 1, because I'm moving it from the 10s place into the 1s place. So it's 10 ones that make 1 10. Now I'm going to move to my 10s place. I have 3 10s, and I want to take away 5 10s. And I can't do that, can I? So once again, I need to go over here and I'm going to regroup. So I'm going to take one group of 100 to make that with 2 left. And then I'm going to put that group over here. Now, we don't have to worry whether this is the hundreds place or not. Just know that I'm taking 1 from this group. And when I do that, it goes in the front of whatever number was already here. And I can treat it as just a 13. Okay? So 13 minus 5 leaves me with 8. Now I have 2 minus 4. Well, if I only have 2, can I take 4 away from it? Nope, I can't do that either. So once again, I have to regroup. That's a 5. This will become a 12. And now 12 minus 4, I can do. That's 8. And then 5 minus 3 is 2. And that should be the right answer. To find out, all I have to do is take this number, which is my difference, and add it to my number I subtracted, which is called the subtrahend. And my answer should be 6,340. And if I do that, 8, 9, and 4 is 14. 9 and 4 is 13, and that would be 6. Look at that. It works out. So I know that this is the correct answer because I checked it with addition, the inverse operation. Now, we're going to use every single one of these skills today, but we're going to do something that's going to be called subtracting across zeros. Because you know how usually zeros are kind of awesome to have in a problem? Well, when it comes to subtraction, sometimes they're not so great. And we're going to see kind of why as we look at this first example. Okay? So, a large box of watermelons weighs 300 pounds. A smaller box weighs 134 pounds. What is the difference in the weight of the two boxes? Well, right there, they use the word difference, so I know I'm subtracting. Because the answer to a subtraction problem is called the difference. So we're going to take the original 300 pound and take away the smaller amount, 134, to see what the difference is between the two boxes. Now, they set it up like this. And I want to use these place value models to kind of help you understand what they're doing as we do this. Okay. Now, the first thing they actually did was they estimated it. And they said, well, we should get an answer somewhere around 200. Okay. But let's go ahead and see what they're doing. The first thing that they're going to do is they're going to take their 300. Now notice it's 1, 2, 300s that they start with. Okay. Now watch what they're going to do. When they want to do this first subtraction, 0 minus 4, they can't do it. This 0, if he goes next door, this guy can't help him, can he? He's got to go all the way to the hundreds place to get any help. Here's what's happening. When this 0 goes next door and doesn't find any help, the hundreds place is going to take one of their hundreds that they've crossed off, and they're going to turn it into 10 tens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So look at that, 10 in the tens place. Okay. Now the tens place has something to help the ones place with. But watch what they have to do. They're going to take those 10 tens and they're going to give one of the tens to the ones place. So this becomes a 9. This becomes a 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we still have 300 here. It's just that we've spread it out so that all of these things are in a spot where we can do some subtraction. Okay? Because if you look, this is 10, and this is 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 200, 300. So there's our 300. It's all still there. It's just now I've got some of them in the ones place. Okay, now, once I've done that, I can do this, 10 minus 4. That's 6. I can do 9 minus 3. That's 6 as well. And I can do 2 minus 1. That's 1. So my answer should be 166. And then they went ahead and they did the inverse operation to test it, and they were right. So when we regroup across zeros, sometimes we have to go really far away to find the help we need before we can do the subtraction. All right? Okay, now let's try a couple of problems like this. All right? If we go to page 172, I want you to look just at number 2 here. And I want you to notice that they have a box up here because I want us to kind of realize what we have to do in order to subtract. Okay? Now, the first one says 6 minus 6. Well, if I have 6 things, I can take 6 away. It just leaves me with 0. So far, I'm okay. But now I have a 0 minus 3. Well, you can't take 3 away from 0. This 0 isn't going to find any help next door, is he? Because that's a 0. So this 0 is going to go over to the thousands place. And here's what's going to happen. This 2 in the thousands place will become 1. It's going to give one of its thousands to the hundreds place. And it takes 10 hundreds to make 1,000. So that's why we put a 10 there. This 10 can now help the tens place. So one of these hundreds is going to go away to make it be 9. And it's going to come over here because 10 tens is going to equal one of the hundreds that we had. Now I can subtract. 10 minus 3 is 7. 9 minus 5 is 4. And then 1, there's nothing to subtract. That stays a 1. And that would be our answer, 1,470. Now, I can actually check it by taking that answer and adding it to what we subtracted, 536. And when I add those together, I get 2006, which is exactly what we started with. So we know we're correct. So the big thing here is when we subtract across zeros, we can't forget this little step in here. Sometimes we have to take the 10 that we created and make it go down to a 9 because we have to let this group take some from us as well. All right? Okay, let's try a couple on the next page. I'd like you to try number 3 on your own, and then I'm going to go ahead and then I'll do it and show you what I got. So pause this and do it on your own. All right, hopefully you're done. and you've unpaused, and you'll see what we're going to do. Here we have an 8, and we are asking if we can take 6 away. Well, 8 is bigger than 6, so we're okay. We don't have to regroup, and that's good. So that's just going to be 2. 8 minus 6 is 2. 0 minus 3. Well, if I have 0, I can't take 3 away from it. So I'll have to regroup. That becomes a 3. This becomes a 10. Remember, we're putting a 1 in front of whatever digit was there. And now I can subtract. 10 minus 3 is 7. And then 3 minus nothing is 3. So 372. Now I can check it by taking my 372, add 36, and I should get 408. 6 plus 2 is 8. 7 plus 3 is 10. Regroup 1. 408. 408. It's correct. All right. Let's try another one. This time, though, we're going to kind of skip down because I don't really care for how they do those. So let's kind of skip down to this one. Okay. 9,006 minus 7,474. Now, in order to do it, I need to rewrite the problem with the biggest number being on top. So I'll put my 9,000, I'm going to give myself more space. Make sure you give yourself a little more space too. 9,006 and then 7,474. Now notice I gave myself a little space up here because we have to do some regrouping, don't we? All right, here we go. 6 minus 4. Well, 6 is bigger than 4, so that's good. That means I can actually do it. That'll be a 2. 0 minus 7, though, I can't do. I don't have anything to take 7 away from. And if I go next door, whoop, he can't help me. So he's going to come all the way over to the 9 to get some help so that he can help the tens place. So I'll take my 9 and I'll regroup that to be an 8. I'll take that one group of 1,000 and make it into 10 hundreds. So I'll put those 10 hundreds right here. Now that I have something in the hundreds place, I can take one of them away, which will leave me with 9, and give it over here. And that would be 10 tens that would make my 100. Now I can go ahead and subtract. Because 10 minus 7, yep, 7 is smaller than 10, is 3. And 9 minus 4 is 5. And 8 minus 7 is 1. So 1,532 should be my answer. And if I wanted to, I could go ahead and do the inverse operation and add these two numbers together, and it should be the number I started with. Okay? All right, let's try another one. Let's do this one, number 8. 9,003 minus 5,295. All right. First, I'm going to write it really neatly here, leaving some space so that I can regroup. 9003. Then 5295. Once you've got that written, go ahead and pause this and do it on your own. All right, you should be back. And let's test to see how you did. Remember, we've got some zeros here, so we know we're going to have to do a little bit of funny regrouping with those zeros. But if you just follow the rules, nothing's different. Okay? 3 minus 5. Well, a 3 is too small to take 5 away from, so I can't do it. This 0, he can't help me. And he goes next door, and that 0 can't help him. So he comes all the way over here to the thousands place. That 9 in the thousands place, we're going to take 1,000 away from it to make it an 8. I'm going to give one group of 1,000 to my hundreds place. 10 hundreds is the same as 1,000. So I put a 10 in the hundreds place. Now the hundreds place can help the tens place. So we'll take one of those hundreds away, which leaves it with 9 hundreds, and put it in the tens place. 10 tens makes 100. So now this 10 can help the 3. I have to take one away from it. So now it's 9 tens, and 1 10 with a 3 makes it 13. I did a whole bunch of work just now, and I haven't even done any subtraction yet. But that's what happens when we subtract across zeros, is you have to do a whole bunch of work to start with. Then you can actually do your subtraction. And here's the deal. Once we get started, we will just keep subtracting. We shouldn't have to do any regrouping. So let's see. 13 minus 5 will leave me with 8. 9 minus 9, well, that's easy. That's 0. 9 minus 2 leaves me with 7. And 8 minus 5 leaves me with 3. So 3,708 would be my answer. Now, here's the trickiest part of doing this, is that people usually forget that when this number is going to help this number, I have to change it from the 10 to the 9 because I'm taking 1 away from it. So you need all that space for the regrouping on top. But don't forget that when you go to help next door, you got to change it. And then this one has to change to a 9 to help over here. So that changing of the 10 that was a 0 into a 9 so it can regroup and help the number that's in front of it is the hardest thing to remember. All right, now, hopefully that does make some sense. And your assignment is going to be pages 175 and 176. On those pages, the first part is going to be where they have the boxes. So you'll use that and then do an addition problem to check. So take your difference, add it to the number you subtracted, and the answer then should be the number you started with. Okay, so that's going to be the same for numbers 1, 2, and 3. When you move on to the next page, 4, 5, and 6 are going to be the same, except they don't give you all those boxes on top. Some of you might like that better because sometimes all those boxes get a little confusing. But then do the addition problem to check your answer. Down here, you just have to do the subtraction, and you'll have to write the numbers in. Don't forget to leave yourself some space up at the top in order to do your regrouping. So start writing the numbers kind of a little bit lower down here. All right, so you have plenty of room for regrouping. And then there's just 2 word problems and then a problem with a multiple choice options. All right. Okay, I hope you're doing fine with the subtraction. It's really not too terribly difficult if you just follow those steps. If you need to, you can always go back and look at some of the problems I did back here and try them again, or try some of the ones that we didn't do and see if you can get those right. All right, do a great job. Stay focused.